two little twins gave an incredible performance at the talent show, revealing their heartwarming spirit and unbreakable bond. In the heart of America, where dreams were spun from the golden threads of determination, two little twins, Mia and Max, stepped onto the stage of their small town's annual talent show. Their combined voices sang with passion, telling the tale of resilience and hope. The moment they began, it wasn't just a performance, it was a breathtaking journey that pulled at the heartstrings of every person in the room. The audience was spellbound, every note echoing like a promise that dreams could indeed take flight, no matter the circumstances. From the quaint, cozy home they shared with their hardworking single mother, Mia and Max learned the power of dreams. You can achieve anything, as long as you put your heart into it, their mother would always say, her eyes sparkling with pride. She showed them that hard work was the backbone of success, even if their shoes were a bit worn and their pockets always felt light. Together, they would practice late into the night, singing their favorite tunes, fueled by the love of their mother and the tales of Mr. Thompson, their kind neighbor. As a decorated veteran, he had seen the weight of struggle and the joy that comes from overcoming it. True worth isn't based on where you come from, it's found in the courage you show when life gets tough, he'd say, his voice steady and warm. But as the talent show approached, doubts crept in. Classmates whispered beneath their breath, snickers flew through the halls. Can they really do it? The townsfolk who had once seen the twins as adorable could only raise an eyebrow as they eyed the worn-out shoes the twins wore to school each day. But Mia and Max. They walked with their heads held high, for they believed in magic, the kind that happens when you reach for the stars. Just when they thought hope was on their side, disaster struck. During a particularly spirited practice, Mia tripped and hurt her foot. The pain shot through her, and despair flooded her little heart. Max saw the hurt in his sister's eyes and knew he couldn't let their dreams shatter. He gathered courage, confronting their peers, asking, "Will you help us?" After they posted a heartfelt video of their bond and determination, kindness rippled through the town. Messages of encouragement and support flowed like a river of unity, turning skepticism into solidarity. When the big night arrived, Mia and Max took to the stage with a mix of nerves and excitement. As the lights beamed down, they felt the warmth of the community envelop them. Their voices intertwined a beautiful harmony. Each note resonated with raw emotion, transforming the hall into a symphony of love. Tears of joy streamed down faces, and when they finished, the applause shook the very foundation of the school. Just when they thought they had done it, the unexpected happened. Their classmates, those who had once doubted them, stepped forward, revealing their hidden talents too, igniting a wave of inspiration that washed over the audience. This moment changed everything. With each performance, walls began to crumble. In a town once divided by prejudice and socio-economic barriers, Mia and Max had forged bridges of connection. And yet, as they soaked in the applause backstage, a question lingered in the air. Would this moment of unity last, or would it fade as quickly as it came? As hope and uncertainty filled their hearts, everyone was left holding their breath, eager to see if acceptance would finally outshine the darkness of doubt. Backstage, the euphoria began to fade, replaced by an undercurrent of anxiety. Mia leaned against the wall, her foot still throbbing. Max noticed his sister's sudden quietness and took her hand. "We did great, didn't we?" he asked, trying to infuse excitement into his tone. But Mia's eyes reflected uncertainty. "Do you think they really changed?" Max shrugged, a little unsure himself. "They have to. We showed them what's possible if we just believe." But deep down, they both sensed that one performance wouldn't erase the hard truths of their reality. As the night wound down, the twins heard laughter and chatter outside the auditorium. The energy from the stage melted into the gathering crowd, but there was something different about this buzz. It wasn't merely a collection of congratulatory words, it was filled with a sense of curiosity and exploration. Students who had never spoken to them were mingling, exchanging stories about their own struggles, their own dreams. Mia's heart warmed but also ached. Was this connection just a momentary spark? Would the kindness they received spring from genuine acceptance or simply wear away tomorrow? Max, What if they only care about us when we're on stage? She whispered. He tightened his grip on her hand, resolutely looking into her eyes. Not if we make it more than just tonight. We can change how they see us, how we see each other. Outside, the crowd began to coalesce, breaking off into smaller groups, and soon, a conversation began to unfold that Mia never would have expected. Some classmates formed a circle around a group of performers sharing stories behind their acts. Encouraged by the laughter and shouts of support, Mia stepped out into the light. People turned to face her, and for a moment, the world held its breath. "Hey, can I share something?" She called out, her voice trembling yet determined. A hush fell over the group. When Max joined her, their hearts raced. He smiled at her, a silent cue to go on. "We believe everyone has a story worth telling," Mia started, working through each word. As she spoke about how performing together united them, she saw heads nodding. It struck her that this was exactly what their mother had always stood for, the courage to connect, to put oneself out there. "It's easy to hide, to not show up when things get tough," Max continued, his voice growing stronger. "But we all have dreams. Let us support each other, not just for a night, but every day." As the words flowed, a warmth enveloped the crowd. Slowly, people began to come forward, sharing their vulnerabilities, their hopes, and fears. The once judgmental whispers faded, replaced by a tender spirit of recognition and empathy. Max and Mia exchanged hopeful glances, the doubt ebbing away with each shared story. But then, just as the night felt like it had transformed into something so much brighter, the angry shout of a familiar voice broke through the emotional haze. "It's just a show. You really think this matters?" A boy from school, someone who had always sneered at them, stood defiantly. A palpable tension surged through the crowd. Mia's heart raced, but she stood firm. "It matters if we let it," she replied, her determination rising. As the silence deepened, the moment hung in the air, filled with uncertainty. Would her words reach the hearts of those who dismissed them? Would the night's transformation withstand harsh words? The questions thrummed loudly, buzzing with possibility. What would happen next would define not just their small town but their very essence. Could they redefine acceptance, or would the past cast a long shadow over their dreams? The silence that followed Mia's words felt like an eternity, stretching out in every direction. The crowd shifted, eyes darting between Mia and the boy who had shouted. Doubt lingered in the air, hanging heavy like the curtain that had just fallen on their performance. Max took a step closer to Mia, his voice low yet steady. "It matters because we're real," he added, his gaze now locked onto the face of their challenger. "We've all been through something. That's what makes us who we are." A few heads nodded in agreement, small sparks of courage igniting in the corner of the crowd. Mia felt her pulse quicken as she sensed the energy shifting. Amid the tension, she saw familiar faces, her classmates who had cheered the loudest during their act now looking uncertain. But there was also the flicker of support from others, a mix of discomfort and resolve. "Maybe this is the moment," she thought, the boy scoffed, crossing his arms over his chest. "You think you can change the world with a few stories and a talent show? Come on." His ridiculing laughter sliced through the fragile atmosphere, but instead of backing down, Mia raised her chin. "It's more than stories. It's about understanding. If we can hear each other, we can change how we treat one another." Her heart swelled as she spoke, the truth ringing clear. We're all more than just what everyone sees. We've got dreams, fears, and most importantly each other. The murmurs spread through the audience, small waves of acknowledgement rippling outward. Some students shifted closer, eager to engage, while others hesitated, torn between their past beliefs and a newfound curiosity. Mia caught sight of a girl she had spoken to a few weeks prior, a quiet girl who had confessed feeling invisible. Now, there was light in her eyes, a flickering flame daring to burn brighter. With a shaky breath, Mia pressed on. "Look at what we've started tonight. We're here, together, sharing. But this can't just end now." She gestured toward the crowd, her arms wide. Let us keep this going. Let us not fade back into being strangers. Another voice piped up, a boy with glasses, someone who had often been overlooked. I'm tired of pretending. I've always wanted to be part of something. The honesty in his tone made Mia smile. One by one, people began to speak up, sharing bits of their stories, their dreams, their hopes for a kinder tomorrow, yet the boy who had scoffed leaned back, the agitation palpable. You're just wasting your breath, he grumbled, but there was uncertainty beneath his bravado, and Mia sensed it as more stories poured forth from the crowd, a collective resolve formed, weaving connections stronger than before. Everyone seemed to realize they were tired of walking the hallways alone, tired of the masks they wore. Together, they could create a new narrative, one of acceptance and encouragement, but just as Mia felt the surge of hope building like a wave ready to crash, the boy spoke again. You really think this can last? They'll laugh at you tomorrow. It'll mean nothing. His voice was louder now, trying to snuff the light they were kindling. For a moment, Mia felt her heart drop at his words. Doubt tried to seep back in. But she looked around and saw determined faces, newly emboldened by each other's honesty. It's not just about tonight, she yelled back, finding her confidence anew. It's about breaking down walls. If we keep believing in ourselves, we'll show everyone that they can change too. The crowd erupted in scattered cheers, the emotion building and bridging the gap between them. But in the background, the boy's smirk twisted with an unexpected frustration, and suddenly Mia wondered what laying it all on the line would cost them. Was the risk too great? As claps and laughter surrounded them, a new tremor resounded in Mia's heart. What if tomorrow they turn on us, instead? The night felt electric, pulsing with uncertainty and promise, leaving two questions hanging in the air. Would they find true unity, or would the threats of judgment snuff out the light they were igniting? The future loomed closer, and Mia felt on the edge, ready to dive in. But was the depth of connection deeper than ever before, or were they just setting themselves up to fall? Mia's heart raced as she took in the emotion swirling around her. The boy's taunts felt like echoes in an empty room, but the warmth of her friend's support wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. She looked at the crowd, faces both anxious and hopeful, and felt a surge of determination rush through her. Listen. She called out, her voice rising above the murmurs. We're more than just a talent show. We're a community. Together, we can be the change we want to see. With those words, freshmen and seniors alike began stepping forward, sharing small whispers of their experiences, grappling with fears and aspirations. Mia noticed the girl who had once been invisible. Now she stepped up, bright eyes glistening with unshed tears. I want to be heard, she said, her voice shaking yet resolute. I've felt alone for so long. But what you all are saying, it makes me feel seen. A ripple of understanding spread through the crowd. The boy who had mocked them earlier stood speechless, glancing between the growing supporters and Mia's fierce resolve. Don't you get it? She continued, feeling emboldened. This isn't just us talking. It's about building a bridge where there wasn't one before. Where you can share your fears without shame. Where we all belong. The boy, still leaning against the wall, finally broke his silence. And what if that bridge collapses? His tone was defensive, but uncertainty crept in around the edges. Mia took a deep breath. Then we rebuild it. Together. Strength comes not from pretending everything is perfect, but from the courage to share who we really are. Her words hung in the air like a challenge, and she could sense the crowd's anticipation, each heart racing in response. Maybe we should. The voice came from a boy standing beside the girl who had just spoken, his hands trembling. Maybe we should do something to show we mean it. We could write down our dreams, our fears. And stick them on the walls around school. Yes. Mia exclaimed, the spark of excitement igniting throughout the audience. We can create a wall of hope, a mural of all our stories. A reminder that we are more than just faces in the hallway. Nods and murmurs of agreement rose, firming their resolve. The realization sank in. This was not just about one night. It was about a movement, a new culture among them that valued sincerity and unity, yet, as the wave of enthusiasm began to swell, Mia noticed the boy flinch, an expression of genuine concern breaking through his previous bravado. Was he realizing the depth of their emotions? As ideas bounced through the crowd, eager plans began to form, but Mia held her breath. Behind the cheers was the fear of rejection and the lingering weight of judgment. Was it really possible to change their world? Did they have what it took to sustain this newfound connection? "Let us do it," Max said, his voice plowing through the uncertainty. "But we'll need everyone. This is our chance. We need to keep pushing, keep speaking up." Applause erupted, but Mia's heart sank a little at the thought of backlash. What if they did fail? What if tomorrow brought the very ridicule that the boy had warned of? But then she looked around, at those brave faces turning toward one another, and she thought about the girl's confession. She thought about how even the smallest spark of courage could ignite something beautiful. "Now, let us get started," Mia said, raising her voice again as the crowd quieted. "But remember, this is just the beginning. We'll need to watch each other's backs." As her words settled in, she didn't notice the figure lurking near the edge of the shadows, eyes fixed on them with a mixture of admiration and calculation. Was there something brewing behind that quiet intensity? Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the first step on a much larger journey. As excitement crackled through her, the air felt heavy with possibility. They had taken the leap, now the question was, how far would they fall or fly? The night was not over yet, and the crowd buzzed with energy. What awaited them when they stepped outside? Would their courage withstand the reality of their world? The crowd was still buzzing with anticipation, a vibrant energy coursing through each member of the audience. Mia's heart swelled as she caught snippets of hopeful chatter around her. "We're really going to do this," the thought was both thrilling and terrifying. "Okay, everyone," Max called out, his enthusiasm contagious. "We're going to need supplies: paper, markers, paint. Let us make this wall something special." As a wave of energy surged, students began to disperse in groups, making plans for the mural. Mia felt a flutter of pride. This wasn't just a random outburst, they were creating something lasting. But deep in the pit of her stomach, a shadow loomed. What if they faced backlash? What if their plan was met with ridicule? "Mia!" A familiar voice broke through her worries. It was Ellie, her best friend, bouncing on her toes. "This is amazing. Look at everyone coming together. I can't believe we're finally doing this." Mia smiled, grateful for Ellie's unshakable spirit. "Yeah, but we have to be careful. What if people don't understand?" "Who cares?" Ellie said, her eyes sparkling. "This is our chance. We can be the voice for those who feel alone. We're here to lift each other up." Mia nodded, feeling the warmth of Ellie's belief envelop her. They moved back toward the center of the crowd, where excitement was building. The boy who had once taunted them was now standing awkwardly at the edge, his arms crossed but his gaze lingering longer on Mia than on anyone else. As the chaos of planning and gathering materials intensified, Mia squeezed Ellie's hand, searching for a sense of courage. "Let us show them what we're made of." With the supplies gathered, they all gravitated toward the blank wall beside the gymnasium. The dull gray concrete stood stark and lifeless, but Mia could already envision the vibrant colors they would soon splash across it. "Who wants to start?" Max yelled, holding up a bundle of markers like a trophy. One hand shot up, then another, until a chorus of voices filled the air. "I'll go first." That bright-eyed girl stepped forward again, clutching a marker tightly in her hand. She hesitated, and for a moment, Mia could see the memories behind her eyes, the doubts and fears that had held her back. But then, with a deep breath, she began to write, her letters bold and strong. As each student added their fear or dream, a mosaic of vulnerability emerged. They wrote about anxiety, loneliness, and heartbreak, but they also wrote about hopes for the future, dreams of acceptance, love, and adventure. Mia watched in awe, her heart swelling with a strange mixture of joy and trepidation. This was more than a mural, it was a testament to their shared experiences. But as the night stretched on, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. That boy, the one who had once mocked them, was still lurking near. His expression vacillated between admiration and something darker, something that left a chill running down her spine. Mia. Ellie's voice broke through again, pulling her back to the moment. Look. That looks incredible. They all stepped back to admire their work. The wall was a riot of colors, names and dreams intertwining, stories told through the brave strokes of markers and paint. But just as Mia felt a sense of accomplishment rise within her, the boy stepped forward, the crowd parting slightly to let him through. I didn't think you all could pull this off, he finally said, his voice low but clear. But you did. Mia felt the tension in the air shift. Everyone was watching, waiting for her response. She took a deep breath and stepped toward him, heart pounding. Thank you, she said, searching his eyes for sincerity. But this isn't just about us. It's about everyone together. He hesitated, and for a moment, Mia wondered if he would join them. But then, just as the silence thickened, he shrugged, almost as if dismissing the moment. And just like that, the unease slid back into view like a shadow behind the light. What did that silence mean? Would he be a part of this community or just another voice spreading doubt, as the night wore on? Mia felt both exhilarated and anxious. They had made something beautiful, but how would the world react tomorrow? Would the shadows of doubt emerge once more, or would they find the courage to stand together despite the darkness? Suddenly, laughter erupted from the other side of the wall. You have to see this. It was Max, beckoning them over, excitement written all over his face. Mia felt her curiosity pull her. What had Max found? As she stepped closer, she couldn't shake the feeling that something pivotal was about to unfold. Inside the vibrant bubble of creativity and hope, Mia followed Ellie and the others toward Max, her curiosity bubbling. The crowd surged along with her, laughter mingling with excitement as they gathered around the corner of the mural. What is it? Mia asked, her heart racing with anticipation. Max stood with a wide grin, holding two low-hanging branches that had been splashed with paint. You guys have to see this, he declared, gesturing toward a makeshift stage area they had set up. We're going to showcase everyone's stories through performances. Mia's eyes widened. Performances? Here. She glanced around, noticing the ecstatic energy of her classmates. It felt like a tidal wave of innovation and courage was rising, one that could sweep away their fears. Yeah. Like a showcase, where each group can share what inspired their part of the mural, Max explained, clearly animated by his idea. Dance, poetry, music, anything. This is our chance to really stand out and show everyone what this means to us. Mia, we have to be part of this. Ellie's enthusiasm was infectious, her eyes sparkling with excitement. For a moment, Mia hesitated. Performing? She thought of her stage fright, the quilts of anxiety that wrapped around her. But deep down, a flicker of defiance rose. They had done the mural, sharing their stories through performance could be just as powerful. I'm in, Mia said, and she was surprised by how firm her voice sounded. Great. Let us put something together. Max clapped his hands, rallying the others. We can work on a choreography that represents the mural's theme: togetherness and resilience. The thought sent a thrill through Mia. She lost herself in the excitement of planning the performance with her classmates, each idea bouncing off another, until the air became charged with anticipation. Laughter and chatter filled the space as each person made suggestions, strong voices mingling, and importantly, the boy who had watched from the sidelines now stepped closer, listening intently. As they brainstormed, Mia couldn't ignore the feeling of being watched again. The boy's presence felt more concrete now. Rather than an outsider, he seemed like someone wanting to join, confused but lingering at the threshold of their creative world. Hey, Mia suddenly said, her throat feeling tight. Are you interested in performing too? His gaze met hers. I don't know if I can. But this is impressive. You all really put yourselves out there. The acknowledgement felt like a door cracking open. You should try, she said, her heart racing. You might surprise yourself. We could use another voice. He regarded her, uncertainty flickering in his features. I don't know, think about it, Mia said, hopeful. Perhaps this was the turning point. Maybe even he could feel the warmth of this community growing stronger. Just then, Ellie cried, ooh. How about we create a dance that represents all our struggles and triumphs? A story that speaks through movement. Mia's heart soared at the idea. And we can make it bridge across the wall. Start from one side and move to the other, bringing everyone with us in a wave of energy. The boy leaned in, a spark igniting behind his eyes. That could work, the transitions would be powerful. As ideas came flooding in and the plans became more defined, Mia felt exhilarated. This would not just be an act, it would be a call to unity, a declaration of their shared journeys. But as plans solidified, anxiety tugged at her again. Was it enough? Would they be truly heard? Then, as laughter bubbled in one corner, a voice shouted, "You have to see this." Turning, Mia was met with a startling sight. A group of younger students stood before the mural, wide-eyed and breathless, pointing excitedly at the colors exploding on the wall. Look! It's us! We didn't know if we could be part of this. One of them exclaimed. Mia felt a rush of warmth. They see us, she whispered to Ellie. Exactly. We need to put on a show for them. Ellie beamed, yet, amid the joy unfurling like a bright banner overhead, a sense of dread lurked. Would their performance be enough? Would they truly connect with everyone? As everyone gathered, she glimpsed the boy still weighing his options. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the energy of everyone around her. The weight of uncertainty sat heavy, yet she held on to the spark of hope blooming within. Together we can do this, she declared as they began to organize into groups. Let us show everyone who we are. And yet, as they prepared to share their talents, the thought crept in again, what if the reactions exceeded even their bravest expectations? Or what if chaos awaited them instead, just when they thought they could finally be free? The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as the crowd continued to gather around a makeshift stage, anticipation woven into the very fabric of the day. Mia felt a mix of nerves and exhilaration wash over her. Would their performance truly convey their spirit? Would it resonate with everyone watching? Max jumped onto the stage to rally their group. All right, everyone. Let us take 5 minutes to finalize our ideas before we jump into practice. I want to sense that powerful energy flowing in our movement. He beamed, his enthusiasm a magnet pulling them together. Mia found herself drawn to her classmates, their faces lit up with determination and hope. She could see Ellie bouncing on her toes, animatedly chatting, her thoughts spilling out like painted colors on the mural. For a moment, Mia took it all in, the laughter, the collaboration, the shared joy of creating something meaningful, but just as quickly, a nagging insecurity crept back in. What if they couldn't pull it off? What if their energy didn't translate into something as beautiful and moving as their artwork? The questions formed a whirlpool inside her mind, pulling her thoughts deeper and deeper. Mia, come on. Ellie waved, snapping her out of her reverie. We need to figure out how to end the dance. It should feel like the final stroke on the mural, strong and inspiring. Mia stepped forward, her heart pounding. What if we finish in a circle? We can reach out to each other, representing strength through unity. It's like we're holding hands, interconnected, just like the colors on the mural. Yes. Ellie exclaimed, spinning in excitement. That's perfect. That can also include the younger kids. We can invite them to join us in the circle. It'll make our message even more inclusive. The boy, who had stayed quiet and observant through most of their discussions, stepped closer. If I can come up with lines of poetry, maybe I could read them while you dance. It could add another layer to what you're expressing. Mia's heart fluttered at his suggestion. Absolutely. Your voice is needed. It will tie everything together beautifully. Encouraged, she noticed his confidence slowly unfurling like a flower blooming in the warmth of the sun. As they hummed along to an upbeat tune, ideas flowed freely. Laughter punctuated their discussions, fueling their growing excitement. Yet, as Mia caught sight of the crowd of younger kids clapping and grinning, a strange sense of urgency stirred within her. Guys, she said, her voice rising above the chatter. This isn't just for us. It's for everyone watching. We need to make them feel something. We want them to know they're a part of this too. A hushed reverence fell over the group while they considered her words. They nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of what Mia was asking. This wasn't merely about colors on a wall or scripted steps in a dance. This was a moment to connect, to transform vulnerability into strength, to weave their stories into a lasting memory. Now, let us practice. Max shouted, breaking the stillness. With renewed focus, they formed a circle, hands clasped, smiles brightening one another's spirits. The movement began gently, a ripple of graceful gestures that felt organic, like painting a living canvas with their bodies. As they moved together, each turn and step resonated with their shared experiences, fears faced, moments of triumph, and the invisible ties that brought them closer. When the rhythm reached its peak, they flowed into the climactic moment, building to the powerful finish. Mia could feel the pulse of something greater intertwined with their performance, a collective heartbeat echoing through the space, but before they could finish, a loud crash interrupted their fervent practice. A paint bucket tipped over, sending vibrant colors spilling onto the ground, creating a mess that sent shockwaves through the crowd. Gasps resonated, confusion swirling among the spectators as eyes darted toward the stage. Mia's breath caught in her throat. The time for their moment was close, but would this disaster derail their performance? Would chaos snuff out their spark before it even ignited? Mia looked at the group, uncertainty mirrored in their expressions. What do we do now? She asked, her voice trembling. The boy met her gaze, determination shining in his eyes. We adapt. We can still transform this moment into something beautiful. Let us show everyone how resilient we are. With courage swelling within her, Mia took a deep breath. The chaos could either bury them or fuel their fire. The stage was theirs, but would they rise to meet the challenge? Mia felt the rush of adrenaline pumping through her veins. The vibrant colors pooling on the ground was an unexpected twist, a canvas waiting to be transformed. The crowd's gasps echoed in her ears, but now she refused to let fear dictate their fate. Okay, everyone. Max shook his head to regain focus. Let us take a breath and remember the energy we talked about. The mess can be part of the art. It can signify the beauty of imperfection. Ellie nodded, her bright smile unwavering. Yes. We can use it. Extend our dance to the spill, incorporate the colors, and bring everyone into our story. Mia felt a surge of inspiration. What if we imagine each color as a shared experience? The blues are our struggles, the yellows our joys. We weave our stories through every step. As her words spread through the group, she could sense the shift. Energy crackled in the air like static before a storm, uniting them as if they were all part of one heartbeat, a symphony rising in defiance. Let us move into the mess. The boy's voice rang out, certainty in his tone, pushing Mia to take the lead. When we dance over it, we're saying that life continues despite the spills. It's our choice to make it beautiful. With a new rhythm in their hearts, they formed a circle again, but this time stepped closer to the vibrant paint. The colors seemed to gleam under the warm sunlight, connecting them to the viewers witnessing the transformation. Mia felt her heart tighten with purpose. Remember, everyone, it's not just about our dance. Let us invite the younger kids into this moment. We share this mess and make it ours together. Ellie grinned, excitement bubbling over. Yes. Let us call them in. Max cupped his hands. Hey. Kids. Come join us. At the sound of Max's voice, curious little faces peeked from the crowd. Slowly, they approached, stepping through the grass strewn with bright pigments, their tiny hands eager to be part of something greater. Soon, the stage wasn't just theirs, it was expanding, breathing, and morphing into a vibrant expression of community. Okay. Everyone, let us try the circle again, Mia shouted, their hands linked tighter now as they included the new dancers. The young kids giggled, and their innocent laughter sprinkled joy all around, compelling every heart present to beat just a little faster. With renewed vigor, they launched into the dance once more. Movements intertwined effortlessly, the graceful arcs of their bodies echoing the spills of color below. Together, they danced over the paint, allowing the vibrant hues to flow with their motions, turning chaos into a kaleidoscope of beauty. Mia felt a wave of warmth wash over her as she glanced at the crowd, from the mesmerized older teens to the bright-eyed children. Hope and pride swelled within her chest, overwhelming her earlier doubts. They were breaking free from the invisible chains of fear, celebrating together in a collective act of defiance against imperfection. Suddenly, as they neared the climactic finish of their piece, the boy's voice rose above every sound. This is how we turn the mess into a masterpiece. The performers held hands, moving into their final formation. The paint on the ground became a symbol of their story, imperfections and all. Every spill adding dimension and depth. As their voices rang loud during the closing lines of poetry, the atmosphere shifted, transforming into a harmony of hearts. They centered in the circle, facing each other with smiles that surpassed words. But as they basked in the applause from the crowd, a different sound emerged. A murmur of uncertainty floated through the air. A few adults stood at the edge of the stage, frowning, pointing toward the mural. Mia looked on in confusion. What did that mean? Was their moment truly a success, or was it in jeopardy still? As the uncertainty brewed, she felt her heart speed up once more. What would she do as the whispers grew louder? Mia's heart raced as she tried to decipher the grim expressions of the adults at the edge. Each pointed finger felt like a dart, aimed directly at her heart, piercing through the joy she'd built. Whispers floated in the air, mingling with the fading echoes of their performance. What's wrong? She pressed her lips together, squeezing Ellie's hand tighter. Max stepped forward, trying to bridge the growing gap between the dancers and the spectators. It was a celebration. A moment of connection. He called, his voice strong but laced with uncertainty, but the adults seemed unconvinced. They exchanged glances, eyebrows furrowed, shaking their heads. A woman in a bright red sweater crossed her arms, her face serious as the sun began to dip lower, casting shadows on the vibrant scene. Is it too chaotic? Ellie whispered, her usual bright demeanor dimming slightly. Did we ruin it? No. Mia insisted, shaking her head. We made something beautiful. Her voice trembled, but she fought to hold back the doubt creeping in. She looked around at the colorful chaos they had created. This was about us. About bringing everyone together. As if sensing the unease in the air, the younger kids, still buzzing with excitement, started to play with the excess paint, splashing it back and forth, their laughter ringing like small bells. Their joy felt infectious, and for a moment, the weight of adult opinions slipped away. Mia watched as they transformed their corner of the chaos into a wild playground of color, the innocence of their laughter wrapping around her like a warm cocoon, but the tension from the murmurs reminded her of the scrutiny they faced. What if the adults were thinking they were reckless? What if they believed this creative act was merely messy rather than meaningful? Mia took a deep breath, her mind racing with possibilities. Maybe, she said cautiously, maybe we can explain it. Show them that this is art. Max looked unsure, but then he caught sight of the kids, dancing and playing, their small bodies moving freely, unrestrained by doubt. We can turn this into something even more powerful, he said, nodding slowly. Let us invite the audience into our story. Mia's heart swelled with hope. Yes. We can do that. She scanned the crowd, her eyes landing on the frowning adults. Let us share what this means to us. Who's with me? As the performers joined hands once more, a wave of determination surged through Mia. They could shift the narrative. Each step they'd taken today had woven a tapestry of emotion. They could weave it again. Turning to the excited children, she announced, "Okay, everyone. Let us invite them to join us in a new dance that tells our story." But just then, a voice cut through the excitement. "What do you mean, our story?" It was the woman in the red sweater. Her voice was sharp and full of skepticism. "You can't just make a mess and call it art." Mia felt the wind knock out of her sails. "It's about connection. It's about overcoming." She stepped forward, her heart pounding, mixing courage and uncertainty. "We danced our feelings. Isn't that what art is for?" Ellie, imbued with renewed spirit, added, "We all have different experiences, but here, we can share them. This isn't just about us, it's about inviting everyone in." Will their spontaneous invitation break the wall of doubt around them? Would they truly connect the colorful, swirling chaos to something profound before the adults? Mia stood rooted in place, heart racing, waiting for the answer that could change everything. Mia felt the weight of silence settle heavily on her shoulders. The tension crackled like electricity in the air as the woman in the red sweater hesitated, her brow furrowed in deep thought. It was as if the world had paused, waiting for the next movement in this unexpected performance of life. "Art, by its nature, invites dialogue," she finally said, her voice softer now. "But it also requires intention." "What are you trying to say?" The eyes of the crowd lingered on Mia with expectation, a collective breath held tight in their chests. Mia's heart raced. This was her moment. The moment they had all worked for, and she could feel her voice rise to the challenge. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward into the soft light spilling from Golden Street lamps. "What we've created here is a symbol of togetherness. It's a reflection of struggles, dreams, hopes, and failures. Each spill, each smear," she gestured toward the vibrant colors on the ground, "represents our stories intertwined. We're not just individuals, we're a community." Max joined her side, his gaze steady. "We want to express that even among chaos, there's beauty. Beauty in sharing our stories, in showing vulnerability. We invite everyone to not only witness but to join us to be a part of it." Murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd as Mia looked at the kids who bounced around, their laughter a testament to innocence and connection. The adults exchanged glances. Perhaps, this perspective would bring them closer to understanding, and then, from the corner of her eye, she caught the boy, the one who had doubted her before. He stood closer now, clearly wrestling with his thoughts. Was he considering the same transformation? Mia turned to him, a soft plea in her eyes. "Will you lend your voice? Share your story, just like we are?" The crowd paused, anticipating his response. The boy hesitated, but her sincerity broke through the walls he had built. "I guess I have a story," he finally admitted, stepping into the light with quieter confidence. "One about feeling like I don't belong. Maybe we can do this together." With that simple declaration, the tension began to lift like a breaking dawn. It was a small crack, but it was enough. Encouraged, Mia stepped back. "Exactly. Together, our stories can carry real power. Let us show everyone how this connects us," Ellie added, her voice ringing with joy. "Invite them in. If they see us together, they might feel brave enough to share too." Max called out to the crowd, "Who wants to join us? Share your own stories." One by one, timid hands rose into the air. Excitement swelled, fragile walls began trembling as acceptance crept in. Mia smiled, fueled by the growing wave of enthusiasm. "You see, art isn't about perfection. It's about embracing every part of who we are. Out of chaos comes understanding, and that's powerful." In moments, students began to step forward, sharing their lines of poetry, a few dancing alongside the little ones who continued to play in the colors. The atmosphere transformed from skepticism to recognition, laughter blending into whispers of possibility. The boy, now in the middle of the celebration, let go of his reservations as he read his lines aloud, feeling the weight of his past lift away. Every voice mingled together as stories poured forth, each step on the paint deepening connections, blossoming understanding like flowers breaking through winter frost. Mia looked around, her heart swelling. They were creating something special. The energy transformed into a collective heartbeat, a pulse of joy, love, and acceptance woven through every shared word and gesture. And in that moment, as the laughter erupted and voices rang out in unison, Mia realized that the messy moments had birthed something beautiful. Together, they had turned doubt into courage, chaos into a shared expression of hope. When the applause at last faded, the adults, still standing back, looked on with a mix of awe and contemplation. Smiles replaced their frowns as they began to applaud alongside everyone else. The bridge of connection laid strong with the vibrant colors on the wall echoing their journey. Mia stood side by side with Max, Ellie, and the boy who had once mocked them, now an integral piece of their story. "We've done it," she breathed, heart full. "What started as worry, as doubt, became something we never could have imagined." "Yes," Max grinned widely, "and tomorrow is just the beginning." He waved the crowd in one sweeping enthusiastic gesture. As the energy shifted towards the mural, Mia raised her voice, "Let us keep the momentum going. Let us promise to support one another. Let this wall be a reminder of our strength." The crowd erupted in cheers. Mia glanced at her friends, tears prickling her eyes. They had built something lasting and beautiful together, a heartwarming spirit and an unbreakable bond, stronger than anything they could have dreamed, and in that vibrant moment, they all knew, this would last. This wasn't just a night, it was the start of a new chapter filled with courage, understanding, and a deep-rooted spirit of community. So now, stand with us. We need you to keep this spirit alive. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now, true fans. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.